So we'll assign that to a detective sergeant.
Sure.
And they will, first of all, they'll review the entire case. And then as they look through it, they're looking for different, like we said before, they're going to look for primarily whether or not that lethal use of force was within or not within policy. And then they'll start to look at some other things. Maybe there were some other issues that present themselves, or that we may have even known about from the very beginning, or they've discovered it through looking through this or through interviews. They will start to put the picture together of what occurred from a policy and procedure standpoint.
Sure.
They may even call in interviews, and we've done that where, again, because the homicide unit's really looking more from a criminal standpoint, there are times where we will bring that officer back in again and interview them. We narrowly focus it to what we're looking at, but we may interview them on something that we've seen or some sort of policy or procedure concern, or it could be something outside of that particular use of force. Like I mentioned before, there could be something that led up to it or something after the fact. We may bring in other officers and interview them, again, having to do with other aspects of the investigation or some sort of procedure. And it doesn't have to be a negative thing either. It may not be that we've seen that something's been done incorrectly or wrong, but maybe we just can't see something and we don't know what's there. But just to make sure that there's not something, we will look into it. So ultimately the sergeant will put their investigation, they'll go through a review process within in-house, and then we will take that completed investigation, and then it'll go to our Community Review Board on Police Practices, or CRB. By charter now, they will review all officer-involved shootings, as well as other things, but they'll review that, and they have their own procedures and policies and process that they go through. But ultimately, they and a full board will look at this, and then they'll make sure their main task is to make sure that we haven't left any stone unturned, and that we've looked at every aspect of the investigation, and that our investigation is thorough, complete, and impartial. Once that's completed, and assuming that there aren't any issues, and we will have discussions with them, and they'll raise questions, and we may look at something and make decisions on whether or not we need to look into something a little more detailed. But assuming that once they've completed theirs, it comes back to us, and then we will present that to the officer and let the officer know that from a policy and procedure standpoint, this is what we have ultimately determined.